It's March of 2018 and Sea of Thieves has just been released. It's got sailing, AI skeletons, repetitive missions to get loot, PvP interaction, and a whole lot of water. But now here we are, looking at the 1 year anniversary mark, and we're on Sea of Thieves 2.80. It's got sailing, AI skeletons, repetitive missions to get loot, PvP interaction, and a whole lot of water. What? Unholy motherfucker! Yeah, things have changed with all the updates. The bilge rats are like a real faction now, with tons of missions to make money, and with Duke existing at all the outposts in the server, which is kinda creepy. There's a new region called the Devil's Roar that has greatly enlarged the map, and you honestly don't need to get into fights with other pirates to have a hard time there. The environment will do that for you thanks to our lovely friend, the internal heat of the earth, which is kinda scary. New settings like individual ADS sensitivities have been added for your guns, which means that aiming down sights no longer feels like being submerged in a tank of honey and disappointment. But this still doesn't allow you to raise it enough to practically have 1-to-1 sensitivity to your regular look sensitivity, which is kinda better, but still kinda disappointing. New ships have also been added to the game. There was a third type of ship called the Brigantine that was introduced a while back, and it's meant to alleviate all the issues for people who never have enough friends online at any given time to run a galleon, which is kinda cool. And for the really hardcore pirates, they added the ultimate weapon, a vessel to surpass Metal Gear. Except this video isn't about Metal Gear, it's about Sea of Thieves. That said, the rowboat is quickly becoming my favorite boat and I consider it a big addition to the game, but there's still no stealth-based ship in the game, so still waiting on that one, Rare. And the seas have just gotten a lot deadlier overall, at least if you stay still and don't actually react to what is attacking your ship. As long as you keep moving, the only real dangers are other players, the Kraken, and your own stupidity. Mostly your own stupidity. There's also a lot more shit to buy with all the money you'll be earning, and by shit, of course, I mean shirts, hats, I think these are silly, and trinkets. Sure, I like it when my video games look nice, but when people care so much about having skins and other forms of bling to slap around to the point where third-party businesses are started off with them and a whole lot of scammers follow, it kinda makes me hate it. Oh wait, wrong game. Gotta stay on topic. At least in Sea of Thieves, the only way you can get this shit is by playing the game. As far as I've seen, there is no way to spend more real-world money to buy in-game currency, which means it's not so bad that's made into the main source of income for the developers. Like some other popular video games, which I will not touch here. Because as I said earlier, we're only talking about Sea of Thieves here. And in case you're wondering, yes, I do own some of that bling. I had to spend my money on something, and I can't buy better weapons in-game. Do I use this shit? No, not really. Here's what I normally look like, much to the dismay of certain individuals. But enough about all this, let's take a closer look at the parts that really matter in this game. Ah, hold up, was that an update? Yes it was. You see, I did have the script written back up in January, but then Rare went ahead and made some more changes and forced me to have to revise this whole thing and add in parts for the February 6th update. Since this is the most recent update, as of to the time of rewriting this, let's take a look over and I'll explain. No, that's too much. Let me sum up. The update was so big because it was repackaging. This means it takes less space on your hard drive, which is something I definitely needed. An onboarding thing has been introduced for new players. I'm assuming this is a game's tutorial because this game is just so complicated, you know? A new skeleton fortress being built in Devil's Roar, but it isn't quite finished yet as of this moment, so more Dwarf Fortress level fun to be had in this region. No, shoot, damn it. This video is only supposed to be about Sea of Thieves. There's supposedly some sort of new ghost added to the world somewhere, but I have yet to find it, so no footage. Combat's gotten a bit of rebalancing. It's meant to take some focus off of gunplay and move towards swordplay by making it so missed cutlass swings no longer affect your movement speed, but they're still cooldown, so who cares? Oh yeah, guns have also got a lot of changes of their own, so let's go on to that. Gun switching now takes longer. I don't personally notice a difference, but that's the double gunners, I guess. The hipfire accuracy and overall damage of the eye of reach has been nerfed, so my 360 no-scoping days are now officially dead in this game. That said, the bullet speed has been upped and damage drop-off no longer exists, which makes the average seem more like a sniper, but still feels like using the AT rocket gun from BF1, but without the same potential close range. I think I just did it again. Yeah. Oh well, enough wasting time, let's get on with it. The aforementioned skeletons are still there, in greater numbers, but still manageable, especially since their cannon eating days are over with the accuracy nerf. Doesn't mean they won't try though.
I feel so dead inside. Actually, I feel dead on the outside too.
They also run around in galleons now, which are both silly to watch and from what I hear not too hard to sink. As I had mentioned before, skeleton forts are still around and have more loot, but of course that just gives more reason for someone to roll your ship while you're cutting waves of skeletons around the fort's keep. As for the monsters that live within the water, by that I mean the Kraken and Mini Megalodon, they are really more of an annoyance than a threat overall. These giant sharks only seem to stick around an area of the map and will only attack you if you're moving slow enough, though sometimes they do just want to be friends. But until you can tame them and turn them into a new sort of vessel, I will not be impressed. The Kraken is a bit more annoying, and it definitely doesn't want to be your friend, but definitely wants to waste your time, take your money, and destroy your dreams. Oh yeah, with the new update, they tend to go after smaller ships less often now. Supposedly. That said, it's pretty easy to escape unscathed. But that's just on the surface of the water. Diving to the depths below, we find a plethora of wildlife that leaves so much to be explored, with something new to find around every... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is a Subnautica script. This video is only supposed to be about Sea of Thieves. Just hold on a minute. Ah! Here we go. Oh, you know what? I left that part empty on the Sea of Thieves script. Well, moving on. New NPCs have been introduced on various islands that you might visit. They don't really do anything though, they just sit there and have a bit of somewhat interesting dialogue, like this guy, a failing pirate named Frank. Overall, after some initial messing around with missions and sailing, I think the whole PvE scene is still feeling a little bit stagnant. It always seems more interesting at first, but it's still too repetitive feeling and too separate from the multiplayer aspect in my opinion, aside from special missions and events. I would still like to see some friendly AI ships from the existing factions, as well as the introduction of a military/pirate hunting faction that gave out quests to bounty hunt other players or unique NPCs that run around the server. Maybe this will have to do. Now we can talk about the interesting part of every online game, multiplayer interaction. There's really only one thing that hasn't changed here. If you don't shoot other people on sight, you'll miss the opportunity to steal their loot. Just kidding. The gambling minigame that we call matchmaking is still the same, where you'll more likely be paired up with players more noobish than you and won't be of much help for anything.
Going down! Gun! I have one! Put down the anchors, Gabe! There's another hole! Got these holes fixed!
Except maybe as bait. Now, by far, the biggest change that has been added to the multiplayer is official alliances. This makes teaming up a lot easier with other ships without having to worry about their backstabby crews. Your loot gets shared, and it gives the potential for people to absolutely dominate a server if they actually tried to sail together. As far as the loot sharing system goes, according to the Sea of Thieves subreddit page, you'll get all the money from what you sell, and you get 50% of what your allies sell. So, drinks all around, we're getting richer, boys. Except for Frank. He's still a failure. I personally think this is awesome. The idea of being able to start a pirate fleet brings me back to my days of playing Sid Meier's Pirates, except now you can have a fully manned fleet instead of only a one-man show. And I said I was only going to be talking about Sea of Thieves in this video. Though I don't think many large alliances will ever be started considering how few ships there are in a server even on the busiest of days. But as the game grows and hopefully the player base with it, this new door to cooperative play might just add the epicness that you can't gain no matter how good your galleon crew is. This makes the alliance system seem like the only thing worth talking about here, but of course we could talk about those who just aren't willing to fly the parlay flag. I'm starting to refer to these players as dangerous individuals armed with cannons and knives. Fitting name, don't you think? These players should end up doing quite well in the upcoming arena mode, which I'm really not bothering to talk about too much in this video, as I have yet to play it. Until then, you can try to sail unnoticed and just get some missions done, but even if you don't see anyone else, you'll know that they're there, and every moment spent on the open seas with a lot of loot in your holds fills the air with tension, and every rock starts looking like a sail. Or you can flip it around, go full dick. Run out the guns, fly that red, glowing, spotty flag thing, and go looking for a fight. Or flip it around again. Be silent. Be unseen. Be the sneaky bastard who goes looking for the unsuspecting sailor, boards their ship, takes their shit, and gets the hell out of there. Play it however you feel gets you what you want out of it. It is called Sea of Thieves after all. Also, you did pay $59.99 for it. Oh hey look, they put out another update.
Put him in bed with Captain's daughter, put him in bed with Captain's daughter early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning. That's what we do with a drunken sailor, that's what we do with a drunken sailor, that's what we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning.